Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy you guys are here today. We have two wonderful, amazing speakers, and I'm excited for you guys to learn about this field and all the wonderful things they're going to be explaining. We have video, we have a presentation. So everyone, if you can just somehow give a warm, exciting welcome to Sergio and Juan. Thank you so much for your time too. You guys can take it away.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank everyone for the opportunity to kind of be here and tell you guys our story, our path, how we got to where we're at, the opportunities that we got through the local, through the apprenticeship. Because for myself, and I'll let Juan speak on about him, but when I came into the trade, into the apprenticeship, I just didn't have a vision of where I was going to be, right? For me, it's been as of August 31st of this year, it's been 26 years since I've been in the trade. So I started my apprenticeship in 1998. I had a couple different paths throughout my career, right? First of all, I was born in Mexico. I moved here. My parents moved here in 93, 92, 93. So I graduated. I went to 8th grade and then graduated from high school here at Eagle Valley High School up in the mountains in Gibson, Colorado. As soon as I graduated from high school, right, I was 18. I wanted to see the world. So I moved to Denver. I did a couple odd jobs. I went to I did some roofing. I did some concrete. I was doing drywall before I was introduced to the pipe fitters. And that's when I actually started talking to the foreman on the job side, the one that actually told me about the apprenticeship, the training, the education, the career, not just the job, it's a career. And I applied back in that day in March, and then I actually got accepted in August to start the apprenticeship. I went through the whole apprenticeship on the construction side, kind of learned the welding, the pipe fitting side. But when I came in, all I wanted to do was just weld. I just wanted to weld. That's it. That was the only thing focused. But I got a lot more than that, right? The education, the training, how to size the the mechanical room, the heating, the cooling, all that stuff. And then when I graduated, moving forward, when I graduated from high school, from the apprenticeship, I was working for a company out of Iowa. So once I graduated, I didn't have to go to school at night. I started traveling with that company. So I was away from home maybe 4, 6 weeks, 8 weeks at a time, which was great. Right now, 23 when I graduated, and it was awesome. I loved it. But at the same time, I had my oldest kid. He was born in 2002. My youngest was born in 2006, and at that point, it was tough being away from the family, from the kids, from the wife, and leaving the household and everything to her. So when I came back and I checked in with the union hall, right, the hall, and I told them I wanted to come back and find a job here in Denver, and they sent me to work as a welder for a service company in 2006. 2006, 2007, and 8, I was welder fitter, installing any equipment, any chill water cooling or heating equipment that they sold. I was capable of doing that in 2008, 2009 is when it got a little tough, the recession hit. Where it was tough trying to stay busy on the construction side, on the install side, because there was no projects. So while I was doing that, I was also taking classes at the home, the tournament after classes, learning more of the technical stuff, the controls, the electrical, refrigeration, all that stuff. Because I can pipe anything. It's just the understanding on how it worked is where I was not understanding. So in 2009, it came to where the company was either going to lay me off, or they offered me a position or an opportunity to go over to service, right? So if it was my decision, right, it was pretty easy, because either you get laid off or you go to service. So I decided to stay employed and went to the service side. And it changed my whole path, my career, right? Because now I'm on the service side, on the installs. Not on the installs, on the service side, troubleshooting. I worked in a lot of critical areas, data centers, hospitals, labs, all kinds of stuff, which it was very demanding because you had to be on call almost 24/7, 2 hours to respond, but it was awesome. It was amazing. And that's where I stayed from 2009 to 2019. And February 2019, the business manager, Gary Arnold, called me and offered me a position as a business agent here at the home. So talking to Juan is like, I, never thought I was going to be working in an office, right? Especially here working at the union hall. That was one thing that it never crossed my mind. But it was another challenge, right? So I said, why not? I took that opportunity, and here February coming up, this 2025, I'll have 6 years here as a business agent, working on the service side. So I help. I'm also a trustee on the training department, on the joint apprenticeship training committee. I'm one of 10 trustees. I'm also a trustee on the certified journeyman upgrade classes. So certified is after you graduate from the apprenticeship, you still have more training and education that you can get to, and we bring in manufacturers from all over the place to introduce our members, our apprentices, to the new technology being used in the field, in the industry. So we provide all those classes, and it's great because the cost for our apprenticeship, it's $200 a year, right? So it's not like you're going to be in debt. You're going to be working, right? And whenever you're ready, we can go on to watch the video that I have for. I think we have some students now that kind of show them what a day-to-day is of the life of a pipe fitter. Right? And here at the local, we have 3 different trades, right? Actually 4 different trades. We have the welding track, the pipe fitting track, the HVAC track, and also we have the gas distribution side. So you can have all those different opportunities, kind of whatever you want to go, whatever you want to do. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, more than happy to answer any questions. Will stop me at any point. And we're here to kind of give you the opportunity to ask the questions and understand what a pipe fitters is all about.
Yeah, does anybody have any questions so far? If you do, you can put them in the chat. You can ask. This is also bilingual, so if you have any students that do have a better choice in a different language, you're more than welcome to put that in here as well. Juan, did you want to introduce yourself?
I don't think we can hear one.
No. Okay. I wonder, let's see. Okay, we will come back and figure. Are you plugged into a different, like headphones or anything like that one? Okay. I understood. I'm going this way.
Yeah, we're right across the hallway. And it's funny story, right? One, let me open the door for him. Well, hello everyone. I hope you can hear me here.
Yes, there you are.
Rebecca, I know at first we talked about I wasn't going to be able to make the meeting, but here we are. Everything gets canceled and moved around with our schedule, so here we are now. My story is pretty similar to Sergio's. I don't know if you guys can tell, but we're related. we are cousins. We are cousins here. My opportunity came, we moved from Mexico. He moved here first, then we ended up following up like 2-3 years later. And that kind of seemed to have been the story for us.
When he came in here, I was still in high school. He was in here, I wanted to I wanted to go to college and keep studying. Unfortunately, we couldn't afford it. Just because a lot of reasons. Sergio came up to me and he asked me, about if I was still thinking about going to school, and I go, yeah. And he says, how about if you go to school for free? That was my end as an apprentice here, thanks to him. And this is 23 years ago for me. Um, the background, same thing. We went through the apprenticeship on the construction side. Um, we When I became a journeyman, our path went a little bit different. He went more to the service side. Myself went more into the industrial, pharmaceutical type of work, the more critical work. And and then I ended up being on the gas distribution, doing a lot of work here in the city. But I worked anywhere from uranium refineries to nuclear places, microchip plants, pharmaceuticals. Um, what else have I done? A lot of powerhouses, here in Colorado to the United States. I have worked all the way from California to the Midwest. Illinois and Indiana was the last states. I never went farther than that. I think that was more than plenty. So, um, since then, went to the gas distribution and spent my last 8 years there. A year ago, I came in here in the office. I actually run for the position that I have. It's a little different than how Sergio was placed in here, but here we are now, and what we're trying to do. I know Sergio's been doing this for a few years, going out to schools and trying to present what we have and give the same opportunity that it was given to us to the rest of the younger generation out there. And that is the reason why we're here with you guys and on this meeting.
There is a question on the chat. Do you have to get a clearance to work in the nuclear industry?
Yes, you do. And it depends. If you go into a facility that is already running, it's a big background check. Yes. If you go into a new facility, until the point where they start bringing in nuclear or radioactive materials to the job site, and then you don't. But once that comes in, and then yes, you have to go through the same background check as before. Once you get into the system, you're already in the system. You just have to, instead of going all your life of background check, they only go back to the last time that you got to work in one of those places. But yes, you do.
Great question. Thank you. Is there any more before we continue?
Any other questions?
All right, let's go ahead. Did you guys want to play it, or did you want me to play the video?
I think we would need to be a co-host. But if you want to play it, if you have it available, you're more than happy to play the video. And this video is it'll show you what a day-to-day is of as an apprentice, as a training person, working in the mechanical industry, right? Service, welding, fitting. But this is a real life taken by our apprentices, right? Through our international, the United Association.
Yeah. You should have it on there. Do you have co-host? Or did you? Did I put it up here too, just in case? Está bien. Let's see. I'm sharing now. Hang on one second.
For us, this is the first time that we get to do something like this, so we're learning.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, here we go. Ready? Can you guys see it?
Yep, we can see it.
The job of a UA apprentice is tough. I had to know what definitely big I was up there. I still sometimes think,
Career with the United Association of the Pipefitters industry. The pipe trades right for you.
I'm easy. I didn't feel good. Keep moving. I don't want to say they're doing things. Traffic is hard. Completely tired. So I have to drive an hour here and an hour there. It's a lot. It's traffic.
This is immediately serving alongside Unix, making a living wage.
It's very, it's delayed and it's got a lot of, you can't hear the audio, so, but I share the video on Zoom, on the messages, on the chat.
Sorry, say that one more time. Okay.
So I share the link, on the chat. Cause it was coming like delayed, it was, you can hear every other word, so I apologize for that.
Is it better?
I think you're not sharing the screen anymore.
It's not sharing? Okay,
No.
sorry about that, guys. Let's try it again. We're gonna get it, I promise. We're gonna get it, I promise.
The job of a UA apprentice is tough.
I had to do what I have to do to support my family.
Definitely do not expect it to be easy.
I wake up at 3:30 in the morning, I get my kids dressed and ready. I have to be in the parking lot for work at 5:30.
Now, if you don't have the will to learn and to persevere and push on, no, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, it's definitely a grind. You're gonna have some good days, some bad days. Don't give up, don't be a quitter.
I still sometimes think, did I make the right choice?
A career with the United Association of Journeymen and Apprentices of the plumbing and pipe fitting industry can be rewarding and open up doors to a bright future. But is life in the pipe trades right for you?
I'm easing my way into it. I didn't think it was gonna be the way that it is. It definitely was different from what I thought.
Do not expect it to just come to work, sit around, do whatever you want.
I expected it to be tough. I'm not a quitter, even though there was times where I actually did want to quit.
It's really fast-paced. You have to, keep moving because you don't want to sit down and look lazy.
Traffic is the worst part about it, especially after work when you're completely tired.
So I have to drive an hour here and an hour there. It's a lot. It's a lot of driving.
You still have to drive to class and then back, so sometimes you're getting home around 10, having to get up at 5 in the morning the following day, 4 in the morning. It's tough,
UA apprentices begin work immediately. learning alongside journeymen on real job sites while going to classes in the evenings, making a livable wage while taking part in the 5-year program.
Yeah, just anybody can be an apprentice and try out the program, but it takes a certain kind of person to actually complete the program.
The average day in the construction trades begins as early as 6 a.m. and can often go longer than 8 hours.
Typically, I wake up around 3:30 every morning, sometimes 3, depending on traffic.
Depending on the project, the work week may not be limited to 5 days, as to meet tight project deadlines.
On the weekends, I've been working. I've been getting overtime.
I mean, sometimes they want the job done after hours or before hours. So there was times where I was getting up at like 4 in the morning to make sure I made it on time because the job started at 5 in the morning.
Life in the construction trades isn't always comfortable, as you'll be required to work in high places, confined spaces, and often in the mud.
Yeah, if you have phobias, that's there's plenty of bugs.
Yeah, I'm just observing for spiders. And those spider bites that will get itchy.
If you're afraid of heights, I was actually out of the job, and I was on an aerial boom just about every day for about a month and a half. I was about 80 foot in the air.
Well, I heard about a guy who left because he was scared of heights, and he didn't want to get on the lift, so he quit.
There'll be bad smells, it's loud, and sometimes there's yelling.
In the field, people talk all the time, so you're just gonna have to get used to the yelling. There is gonna be yelling.
And as an apprentice, sometimes you may mess up. That's actually a lot of what you're gonna do. You're gonna fail, and sometimes these guys will come out and you'll get yelled at. It's a part of it. Guys are cussing, guys are mad, it's hot outside, everybody's tired, they wanna go home.
Well, there was one day that I just tired of getting yelled at. I'm like, I want to go home, I'm done.
Use common sense, don't use your emotions. That's the biggest thing too. Quit using your emotions on it. You're at work, don't bring them to work. It's as simple as that.
The work doesn't stop on the coldest days or the hottest days. Often, you'll be working outdoors or on construction sites without air conditioning or heat.
My first day starting, it rained, it poured down raining. And I did not come prepared with a jacket or anything. I didn't even look at the forecast because I was just so excited to work. And I got rained on really bad from that day forward. As soon as I got off work that day, I went to buy me rain boots, rain coat.
Welding in the heat, that's hard because on top of the heat, you're wearing leather gear. You could have arm pads, thicker sleeves. Your helmet has weight on it, so that's weighing your neck down. There's a lot of things going on. So on top of sweating from just the heat outside, you have, molten metal that you're carrying, and that's going to add on to it as well. So,
wearing proper safety gear is essential in all conditions and is just as important as dressing for the weather.
So if you think you're going to come to work without a hard hat on, without safety glasses, without gloves, without all that basic PPE, well, you're not working that day, and you're not getting paid either.
Especially with the lifts too, we have to have our vest and our harness and everything on, so.
It's not uncommon for UA apprentices to take lunch breaks in their cars or on the go.
This is your lunch table, this is the truck.
30 minutes does not feel like enough, so once I get out to the car, I'm sitting there just eating my sandwich or whatever it is that I decide to make, just relax in the car for that little bit of time that I have and throw my vest back on and get right back to work.
Also, getting accustomed to using portable restrooms is essential when it comes to adapting to life in the construction industry.
I think that's the one main thing that I do not like about this is the porta johns.
Honestly, for the first week, I didn't go to the restroom. I just held it till I got off, honestly.
Apprentices start at the bottom. On the job, they're asked to do tasks that require the least amount of skill. Moving materials, unloading trucks. It's physical, requiring heavy lifting, climbing, and hours on your feet.
If you're told to dig a ditch, you're going to be digging a ditch, and there's no getting out of it. I mean, if you want to get out of it, you can hit the road. That's all there is to it.
It was one day we had to take off from production to move material for the roofers. I'm talking big, heavy headers, carbon steel, heavy, moving them from the east side to the west side, just carrying them. I had back pains for, I want to say 3 to 5 days
With the pipe that we work with is so heavy, and then we have 5 floors on this building itself. So when we didn't have the buck hoist, we have to walk up and down, up and down, up and down.
Today I cleaned the debris from a chiller. Yeah, you know, for the most part, as an apprentice, you're stuck doing stuff like this. But I'm the type of guy who, you know, let's just get it over with. Whether you're a journeyman or not, I'd rather get in there and get out, you know.
The work doesn't end when the job site shuts down. All apprentices are required to attend classes at their local training center.
Of course, after you're taking a brutal beating at work, working 8 hours, then you have to drive to the training center.
At least for me, my home's an hour, almost hour and a half away. I'm not driving all the way home and coming back, so that's not an option for me. I don't do it every day, but some days, like maybe near the end of the week, Thursday, Friday-ish, if I have class that day, I will definitely show up. I get there about 3 o'clock, sleep till 5, or about 4:45, get up, go in the classroom.
Once I get off of work, then I try to make it home to shower. If not, I just go dirty and stinky and just sit in class and just try to get my work done, try to stay awake.
All right, guys, that is a lot. I have lots of questions. Does anybody have questions about what we just saw?
So that is the real life of an apprentice and also a journeyman. You know, that's what we go through. That's the work part of things. Also including with that, you know, we have our regular school. You saw one of the apprentices, he was talking about how he would come to classes right after work. And myself, I did the same thing, you know, show up here at the parking lot, then take a nap. And then once it was time to go to class, wake up, go to class, that was my resting period. Sometimes I would go and have lunch, or I would come here to the school and have a nap. But that is what we offer, you know, and it is good, other than the future, that you can have a great future that you can have with us.
Yeah, we're happy to answer questions, and then we can move on to the apprenticeship side and all the information on how to apply, and then also I share with you, and you're more than welcome to share all that paperwork and everything else with anybody on the chat or any other individuals on Zoom here. And then also you're more than welcome to share our information, our emails, our phone numbers. And then if anybody wants to do a in-person presentation, we are more than happy to travel out and talk to the students and all that stuff.
Yes, we love that. So just in case I did not explain this particularly well, Pipefitters Union at 208 is awesome. They have their trailers, they have hands-on information, or not information, well, yes, information, but also just being able to have the students, you guys are able to touch and feel and work and have the gloves and be able to see what it's really like, a snippet of it, to see what it's really like. So I really love Sergio and Juan's field on how they do it. I think this video kind of summed it up in such a great way. So thank you guys so much for sharing that. I do and will, if you guys are interested, I will go ahead and forward all the information that I have. If any of you students are interested, or teachers or staff, let me know. But Sergio and Juan, I would love for you guys just to continue giving the information of what they need and things like that.
Yep. So I think the next thing we can do is move on to kind of the apprenticeship opportunities. We can talk about the apprenticeship. So our apprenticeship, it is a 5-year program where you go to school 2 nights a week, right? 2 nights a week from 5:30 to 9. And it's the same school year that you guys have currently, right? It's our classes start in September, first Tuesday in September, and they go all the way to May. And then we have the summers off. But it is a 5-year program, and you think it's a lot, right? It's 5 years of, but it's not that. It goes by really fast. I mean, because you have a full-time job, you're working, you're making money, and you only go to school 2 nights a week, so you have the rest of the week and some of the weekends off to kind of do whatever you want to, right? But as you complete the first year of the apprenticeship, after that, you gotta meet all the requirements of the apprenticeship, pass the classes. If you miss a class, you gotta make up the class. But also you have to be employed, right? And one of those things is that once we bring you in as a first year apprentice, we have a job for you. It's a full-time job, and it's tied to our training side. So and that's what we call the on-the-job training, right? Working for one of our contractors, that is the on-the-job training. So the apprentice is required to keep track of how many hours they worked per week, per month, and then turn that those hours to the apprenticeship side. After you meet all those requirements, you will advance and get a raise. All right. First year apprentice starts at $23.58 an hour. That's this year. And then from there you move on into the second year, third year, and fourth year apprentice. But one of the some of the requirements in order for you to apply for the apprenticeship is you gotta have a GED or a high school diploma along with transcripts and a valid driver's license, right? And if you have any other technical training or previous experience, you can submit that. College courses, college classes, it's huge. One thing I can tell you that we do look at specifically, it's a lot of the math and science, right? I don't know about everybody here, but math and science, you know, going through high school, I was like, I'll never need that stuff, right? I'll never need algebra or any of that stuff. And to be honest, that part of the trade I picked, the pipefitters here, we use the math and science all the time, almost every day.
It's a daily thing out there. It's I mean, we calculate so much. Even myself, I never thought I was going to use it, and then here, well, I had to learn it. Yeah, I had no choice. It was I had to learn how to do the equations and all this stuff and figure stuff out. And after a while, you know, since you're using it on a daily basis, it becomes actually pretty easy. It's an easy task to do. Fractions, well, a lot of equations, a lot of math, division and multiplication stuff.
It's all work related, right? All the math and the science that our instructors teach, it's all work related. So, and that's one benefit is that once you're working in the field, all right, and then you go to school, then you find the theory, you read on it, you study it, you go over in class, but the next day at work, you can be working on it, and you're like, oh, we just went over this last night, right? And then you have our journeyman, right? Because every apprentice, they're not going to just put you out there on your own to go, you know, go for it, do it, right? As an apprentice, you will be with the journeyman the majority of the time. You will be always with the journeyman, on one-on-one with the journeyman. Sometimes you can have two journeymen to one apprentice, but definitely you will not be working by yourself with an apprentice.
Sergio or Juan, can you explain?
Yeah.
Can you explain what journeyman is, just for those that are barely getting into the potential hypothetical field, what it would be like? Because basically you're not going to be alone when you're getting into the field, but just explain what those words mean.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that, and I apologize for we have our acronyms and our all stuff. I apologize for that, but yeah, we consider a journey person anybody that has 5 years of experience working in the mechanical industry, right? So for us, any individual that goes through the apprenticeship, when they graduate from our apprenticeship, and meet all the requirements, they will turn out to be a journey person, right? Journeyman, journey person, and then that's anywhere here in Colorado or anywhere in the United States, right? As long as you are within the UA, the United Association, our international. Yeah, so good question. Thank you.
Yeah. I do have a question in the chat.
The other duty of a journey person or a journeyman when they do have an apprentice is also to teach them. You know, here at the school, we teach them the theory part of things. And then on the job site training, that journeyman is also in charge of teaching him on how to apply that out there on the job site. One's on the hands-on and also on the math and stuff like that.
Okay, I think you guys did answer this, but just in case, the question is, did I'm assuming math feel more functional than theoretic?
Uh, like as far as on the job, or because on that we have both. See, here at school is more theoretic part of things, and then but on the job is more functional.
More of the hands-on.
Yeah.
So it's kind of both, right? Like going through the apprenticeship, you do have the theory part, the classroom part, but also you have the hands-on activity. So you're going to be put on a real life, wiring controls or a wiring diagram, troubleshooting equipment. So it's all, functional.
And the math and the science part of things becomes on the installation as far as measuring, taking measurements, moving around something that is on the way. There's what we call a offset, but it's just moving away from things that you have to do equations in order to get those measurements on the spot. And then they have to be pretty accurate because everything that we do, of course, it costs money, and you want to have the less mistakes that you can have. Mistakes happen all the time, but we try to minimize most of those mistakes. But that's where the math in class, it'll be more like like going to school through high school right now. But when you go out on the job, you apply it to whatever project that you're doing at that moment. And that will be anywhere from designing a whole building and their capabilities, how much water is going to need on the system, or either some of the other chemicals that it's going to need, stuff like that, to where the lines are going to be installed, and for all of that you have to do measurements and figuring.
And kind of, and I guess one of the questions is, what's a pipe fitter? What we do, what we work on, right? So we work on anything that has process piping, right? We're not plumbers. We don't work on plumbing. So the plumbing, that is plumbers level 3, they deal with the drain, waste, and vent, human waste, and all that stuff, right? We are process anything that has process piping. So heating and cooling systems, pharmaceutical plants, microchip plants, refineries, nuclear power plants, breweries, food processing plants, hospitals, any high-rise building, anything that has process piping that you move fluids or liquids or gases from one point to another one, that could be technically all our work. That's something that we would be qualified to do.
Another one of the things that we do there too is as far as the infrastructure, for the whole country, it would be involved with the fossil fuels. We do the drilling, the recovering, the moving from one state to another, from refinery to refinery, or from where it gets drilled from the ground to the houses, to every single home here in Colorado. That's also part of our trade. Most of the people, they call them as pipelines or pipeliners, but that's what it is. It's moving fossil fuels to wherever it needs to go. We do all of that work too.
Power generation, distribution, all that stuff.
Yeah, there's a long list of things that we do. Very long list.
I appreciate that. So, Sergio and Juan, can you explain to us what it means when a student is coming in, freshly green into the field? How can you express, you've been here for more than 20 years, so what keeps you coming back, and why do you do what you do?
For me, it is the opportunity that I had going through the trades on the construction side, on the welding side, and then also moving over to the service side. For me, the best part was like every day was something different, right? I as a service technician, HVAC tech, I never went to the same place, right? I go to the same building, but I never had the same issue, the same problem, right? In the mornings, I would get up in the mornings and I would, answer the call, or I already had a schedule where I was going to go. But as a service technician, you go and you take care of a service call. So the high school or the lab or the hospital can call and say, hey, one of our rooms or the gym is hot. You please come look at it. So that's where I would be dispatched to go look at the equipment, troubleshoot, and then repair, and then get it back online, right? But like I said, every call is different, right? Not every call could be electrical, could be mechanical. So you never have the same issue, the same problem, right? And that was the best part for me. Like, you know, I know I started at 7 in the morning, but technically I didn't know what time I was gonna get home, right? Because you know, if you're going to a hospital, you can't be like, oh, sorry, I got my 8 hours. We'll see you guys tomorrow, right? No, you're technically there until the problem is fixed and everything's back up and running because it is critical, right? They're depend on the operating rooms or the hospital's hot or the building's hot or something, they have an issue. So you need to get that thing fixed.
Okay.
And with me, same thing, that everyday challenge is because every day you don't know, I mean, it's not like you're gonna go and do the same thing every day. Every day, it might be repetitive, but every day you do get to learn something new. There's a challenge every time that you step into that project, that there's gonna be something new that you're gonna learn. A lot of the things, yeah, is repetitive, but there's always something new coming up. The other thing it was for me is helping. I like to help. I love engaging with apprentices, you know, when they ask, and believe it, even sometimes I actually learn from the apprentices also, you know, because once a lot of times we get out of out of school and it might be years before we go back, and technology changes every day, you know, on every industry, in any industry, technology changes daily. And some of the times, you know, they'll be teaching the apprentice and they come in and they tell us about this new technology or this new equipment that they've been training on. And we're like, well, I've never heard of that. So we have to learn that day from the apprentice.
And to be honest, this is kind of my best, my favorite question. A lot of people ask that, which is, what's the most interesting fix that you've each made in your, that you can discuss? So, I mean, there's a lot of them, like I said, you know, I was one of the high-rise buildings downtown, the 50-story building, and I got a chance to go up on the roof, right? So first thing I did, you know, I got my camera out, I took pictures, but then I thought, like, oh, I'm gonna go look at the edge. That was a mistake. Nope, I couldn't get close enough. It was just, I couldn't do it, right? I couldn't get close to the edge and look over because it was, I mean, I've never been that high, and then, but yeah, I took pictures, but I could not look over the edge. Another one is that, I got a service call, right? As a service technician, you're on call for 1 week, and it's 24 hours a day. So when you're on call, you respond. The office calls you any service calls, and then you have to go to it. Well, it was a midnight, and I got a call to go to the morgue at one of the hospitals at midnight, right? To go troubleshoot because their cooler was not working, or they had an issue with the morgue. I was like, it's got to be a joke, right? But no, it was. They had they placed a service call, and I went in there, and I was nervous. I was freaking out, but it was nothing bad. It was all in my head, right? But yeah, it was one of those yeah zombie movie, right? It was like, I mean, once you're in there, you hear things, and things are moving, but you don't see nothing. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, that was not fun for sure, but I remember that service call for sure.
Yeah, and see, that's the difference of our trades. Like he was on the service side, me was more on the construction side. For me, the biggest job that I've done, and not a whole lot of people can say that. It was actually down in Pueblo at the powerhouse, the last powerhouse they built in Pueblo, Colorado. I got to work in this piping. It was 300-inch pipe, you know, and that it's hard to picture because 300 inches is a 30-foot diameter pipe, and that's the biggest challenge that I ever had, just from the point of putting it together and then welding on it. I mean, one joint just was one weld. It was 4 welders on the outside and 2 welders on the inside, and it would take us 4 days to make one of those welds. Yeah.
Whoa.
And we had to do hundreds of them.
That's crazy. 4 days for a 30. I'm trying to imagine what that would look like.
Yeah. I had a chance to go to the Sandia labs once, and I actually ended up heading to another project once before.
Wow. Man, I want to have more, and I
So,
know that we're coming on time, but is there any other questions, anything else that you're interested in? Students, you're welcome to tell, like your teachers, tell them, ask us questions.
Hey, and then for somebody that would like to do some traveling, I did myself one time, but my wife didn't let me go. Sad about that, but hey, I respect that. I was gonna go overseas and weld on a refinery and it was in oh it was before the wars and all this stuff. It was in Iraq where we were gonna go. I can't remember the exact name of the city that we were gonna go to, but it was through one of the signatory companies that we have. But for that, I was gonna go overseas. I was gonna go to the Middle East and do some work out there. But like I said, my wife didn't let me go, so I had to stay here.
we actually, this year, early this year, we had a contractor that was looking to, for welders and fitters to go to Antarctica for a 7-month contract.
Yeah.
To go out there for, and just work out there for 7 months, you know, rebuilding or, doing retrofits on their, I don't think it was their air conditioning, right? But I think it was their heating and cooling.
More likely the heating. And one of the members that did go out there, he came back and he was showing us the pictures, you know, and he was showing the picture where the penguins, they're like a few feet away from them. They're working out there, and then the penguins, they're like right there next to them working.
Wow.
Well, not working, but probably trying to learn some pipe fitting too.
I'm all Juan, I've never seen anything like that before. Man, thank you guys so much, everyone that is here. Yeah, I mean, again, you're more than welcome for the questions. Also, if you have questions later on, you're welcome to send them to me. I can have the Juan and Sergio respond if needed, but I will be sending out all of the information that I have on Pipefitters Union 208. And then, of course, please, thank you so much, Juan and Sergio. You are so, I mean, your field is amazing. Thank you for your services. Thank you for sharing with our students and staff. Thank you so much for all that you do, traveling. And it's really great to know that in this industry, in this field, you can start, be trained, and then, of course, you're more than welcome. I mean, there's so much room to grow and learn and consistently be learning. So that's wonderful, and we appreciate all that you've shared with us today.
Yeah.
Oh,
And one thing I can insight is if you guys have job fairs, your district, your school, let us know. We would be more than happy to, you know, if everything works out, we can bring our trailer like we did over the brush, and then kind of have the apprentices or your students have a hands-on soldering and brazing or welding, or do the fusing on the tube, whatever one works on the welding, all that stuff. So we're more than happy to kind of do whatever we got to do to get out of the office, right? Being in the office is not always it's fun. So always look for an opportunity to get out of the office, go somewhere.
okay. I can definitely follow up, Amanda. Thank you so much for the information. I'll be in contact with you for that. Of course, again, I can't even describe how wonderful these trailers that Sergio and Juan have. I just know that they have big gloves, and the machinery and all the things that go along with it is awesome. And I know the students love it, and I have no other words of what they are, but they do. They are the experts. And so I shall follow them.
Hey, one of the biggest things here with our industry, there is no limits. There's no limit. You can, I mean, here there's no top out. Here, you can always be grown. There's no stopping point. You know, it's up to the individual on how far they want to grow, and we have a big room for growing.
Ooh, that's great. I think we could end with that. Like, it's up to the students or whoever's interested, even parents as well. If you want to change industries, it is really up to you how far you want to go in this field. Just like that video, it's hard work, but it pays off. Your hard work pays off. I mean, I see these gentlemen and they're so awesome with students, and you guys might be able to do this one day after you put in the work. So thank you guys so much. I'll end with that. Again, if there's questions, let me know. If you have anything, you can email me, you can send me a message, send them a message, but I will forward this information to those that have requested it. Anything else that you want to say before we close off?
No, thank you so much for the opportunity. We love talking about, everything that we got from the Pipefitters, right? The opportunity and the life skills and everything, it's been amazing, so we want to get that out there to everybody.